Martin County's Heritage Station.
It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time to call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Welcome back to the second half of the show. We just finished up with our last candidate of the season, and that was Dr. Karina Balderramos-Robinson, and she is running for Congress. I want to say Florida, but House of Representatives and CD 21. Again, folks, reminding everybody, please get out there and vote. No matter who you vote for, it's important to let your voice be heard, and your voice does need to be heard, and we can do that right now in early voting, or November 8th is the actual election day. I want to remind everybody that public service equals public trust, and this is a reminder to vote for Raymond Denzel. Ray Denzel will work for all the people of District 86. Ray Denzel is a problem solver and will always have an open door for you to reach him. Ray Denzel won't just vote the party line. Ray will vote for what makes sense for the people. Early voting begins October 26th, or vote for Ray Denzel on November 8th. Political advertisement paid for and approved by Raymond Denzel, Democrat for Florida House of Representatives, District 86. Also want to remind everybody that Indiantown Marina is one of South Florida's best boat storage facilities. It's located inland on the Okeechobee Waterway. Very well protected hurricane hull. Hopefully we're over the hurricanes for the season, but season does not officially end till the end of November, so keep them in mind in case a storm does pop up out there. And they are home to many in the cruising community who find their facility is ideally situated and user-friendly, where you have a do-it-yourself or full-service boat yard. So any kind of work that you need done on your boat, it can be done out at Indiantown Marina. Give them a call at 772-631-3272, 631-3272. And finally, remember, the best kept secret in Martin County is the Fish House Art Center. It's down in the Pocket in Port Salerno. All kinds of fun things to do down there. It has a boardwalk that has local artists, an Airbnb, art gallery, boat charters, marina, craft and creamery, which has beers, wine, and 24 flavors of ice cream, bike rentals, just something for the entire family. And of course, we have our snowbirds coming back, so if you have friends that are coming in town, you'll want to take them out to the Fish House Art Center. That's down in the Pocket in Port Salerno, thefishhouseartcenter.com. Next, we have here in the studio, I'm very glad to have Captain Deanne Jones. And, you know, the Salvation Army, I love having this organization into the studio because you do so many great things. So how are you doing today, Deanne?
It's good to be here, and thank you for having us. And it's a good day in the Salvation Army. We are getting ready for probably our most busy season, although we are busy year-round. So I'm not sure it's the busy season. It's just a new busy.
It really is, and this really is getting to be a super busy. And folks, we all see the Salvation Army. There's hardly a store you can go into this time of year and you don't see the red kettle and somebody out there with a friendly smile ringing that bell. So what happens with these funds that are donated through the red kettle?
Right, thank you. So every dollar, every penny, nickel, whatever comes into that red kettle is funneled back into our programs that we have going on year-round, which is keeping women and children in our shelter, keeping people, families, seniors in their homes with rental assistance, utility assistance, keeping food on the table, and so on. So those monies that are collected are very important to help us keep our services going year-round.
And we're going to talk about a lot of those services because it's actually surprising with the Salvation Army. But I also want to mention and have you point out with the donations, there's always articles that are out there about the percentage of donations that actually go to the organization as opposed to a lot of them go to salaries. And it's amazing on some of these organizations how many, what filters out the actual donation, how much filters out that helps is a small percentage. What's the case with the Salvation Army?
So for us, every 85 cents to the dollar goes back into our programs. Obviously, we do have administrative costs and that, but we try to make sure that the biggest percentage will go back to help the people of the community, and we think that's really important. In fact, with disaster funds, we handle disasters as well.
You're over by Ian as well,
right?
So.
Actually, my husband just got back a couple of weeks ago from serving with Hurricane Ian. With disaster funds, that is 100%. So every single dollar that people contribute to the disaster funds, 100% of that goes back to helping the people that have been devastated by hurricanes or floods, fires, that sort of thing.
Folks, there's a lot of organizations that help out, but the Salvation Army is always the one I go to, and actually always the one I donate to, because so much of our donations actually go to the people in need, and I appreciate that with your organization. So,
yeah, for sure.
And you're actually a co-captain here, I saw online, right?
Yes. So me and my husband, we are co-leaders, and so we are very complimentary of each other, and so we break things up according to our not our likes, but the way that we do things. So he always says that he helps raise the money and I help spend the money. So I am usually in charge of all of the social services, shelters and things like that. And then he focuses more on business, making sure that the budgets are in line. And so I think we're a pretty working team. And we've been doing this since 2009. We've been married since 2006. So I think we really have hit our groove. So we kind of know how to work together well. And it's so far so good.
Well, I can tell just by the look on your face and the joy in your voice that the both of you really enjoy what you're doing, and it's kind of your calling for life. And you do sound like a well-oiled team that really it's better to have two than one to lead the ship.
Two is always better than one. And in fact, we have 3 children, and so we've all kind of we do a lot of things together. In fact, when we found out that we were moving to Stewart, which we had no idea what kind of gold mine and treasure this was.
Yes.
But when we found out we were coming here, our oldest, Ben, he's almost 16, and he says, "So what are we going to be doing there?" And I said, "Oh, it's a we thing, huh?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, you always get us involved. So what are we going to be doing there?" So it's not just a husband and wife duo. It's really a family thing. So we always make sure that they're involved and understand, what we're doing and why it's so important to help people in the communities that we live in. So,
well, welcome to the area, and we love having you here. So I hope you stay here a while.
For sure.
This is, again, Captain Deanne Jones with the Salvation Army, and Salvation Army does so many wonderful things. And in the interim, you, of course, have your different fundraising events. The Red Kettle was one of them. This weekend, though, you have a Wings of Hope luncheon and silent auction. It's at the Hutchinson Shores Resort and Spa in Jensen Beach. Are there still tickets available for that?
Yes. Just call our office and you can get tickets. Also, this is a fundraiser that is solely to help Compassion House, and Compassion House is our shelter where women and children come. And it's not just to be free from homelessness, but it's to make sure that they don't experience homelessness again. So our Compassion House director, she has this tough love mentality, but they learn budgeting skills. We give them an opportunity to save up money so that when they do leave our shelter, that they can go and be self-sufficient. And if a crisis comes again, it's not going to be debilitating to them or their children. So it's a wonderful shelter and a wonderful program within the shelter. And so Wings of Hope is an opportunity to raise funds for that.
And such an important need and service that you offer there, especially right now, going through such a staggering inflation rates. And I know a lot of people are being impacted by that. So I imagine you're probably having more people reaching out and asking for help. And with that, it's not just the Compassion House that you can help folks with, right? The Salvation Army actually helps in a lot of different avenues. Is there a bill paying assistance, for example?
Yeah, so we don't have a set group of people that we assist. It's a wide range of people, from the elderly to vets to single parents to, working people that are just struggling to get by because, like you said, inflation is huge, and trying to be able to afford rent these days, it's really staggering.
It is.
And so we provide rental assistance, we provide utility assistance to keep lights on, to keep your water going, and food. Food has been a huge need. Since we've been here, we just see there are just so many people if they can afford to pay their bills, but then what do you have left over? And then there are people just going, okay, if I skip my meal, maybe I can, feed my children.
Right.
And so providing food it's essential. It's a basic need. And sometimes I don't like calling it a basic need, because when you don't have those basic needs,
Right.
it's life-changing and it's life-threatening. So
Right.
those basic needs are just so important, and that's what we try to provide, is basic needs to people who just need something.
So important. And just if you go to your website, the services, you have an adult rehabilitation center, anti-human trafficking, correctional services, disaster relief, holiday assistance, pathway of hope, social services. Salvation Army really covers pretty much anybody's need, outside of medical, right?
Right.
But anti-human trafficking, that's a new one, I think, that I haven't seen on the Salvation Army before, but it's certainly in the last few years has become a really huge issue.
Yeah, for sure. And it's scary because we want to think it's not in our neighborhood. It doesn't happen in our neighborhood. And it does. It happens everywhere. And interesting enough, human trafficking, or the fight against it and that injustice, has been happening ever since the Salvation Army started in 1865.
Wow.
And we started in England, in London, England. And even then, we were fighting for the injustices of the people. And in fact, the Salvation Army was a huge help in trying to raise the age of consent in London, England back in 1865.
Wow.
And they raised, I think it was like 12, 13, and they got it raised to 16, which is still, that's an issue. But so we've been, it's not just basic needs and disaster, but it's also fighting social injustices. So there's a wide range of things that we're doing. And to boil it down, it's to help others. And the needs are long and wide and high and deep. And the Salvation Army has always wanted to make sure that we are doing our very best to help others. And that means doing lots of different things. And so I'm really proud to be a part of an organization that just does its best to help others, and that's what I've always wanted to
Right.
do. So this is a great vehicle to make that happen.
And I'm sure there are so many stories over the years that you could tell, and how much the organization does help people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be the heartwarming thing about it for you and your husband and everybody that's involved with the Salvation Army. Let's talk a little bit more about that. You have a store. There's stores around.
Mm-hmm.
What all can people do besides donate money? Of course, money can always be used, but what else can people do to help out?
So our family stores, obviously, it's all donations. So everything that comes in the store it's things that people have donated. If you are wanting to revamp your living room, and so you want to get rid of your furniture, or you have clothes that no longer fit you, or they're going out of style for you, you can donate it to the family store, and we offer free pickup. So if anyone's like, well, I can't, how am I going to move a piece of furniture to the store? We do have trucks that come and pick it up. And the monies that we get from selling all of these items, again, it filters back into the programs in order to help people. So when you're going in and you're like, oh, I love to shop for vintage things, or, sometimes thrifting is really fun. When you are purchasing something, that money is actually helping a life, a person, a family. So it's not just, I get to buy this interesting thing. I'm also helping people in my community. So I love that sort of concept where, you're shopping, yet you're shopping for good.
And it's kind of fun. You'll see some stories come through about the Salvation Army. Somebody found, a painting that's worth a lot of money that somebody,
Right.
didn't realize what it was. Or there was a bust that was like from, I want to say the Roman times, that somebody had a partial one that they found in a thrift store, and
Yeah,
they
it's
actually
so
returned it.
interesting.
But yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many things that come through the door, so it's fun to shop there as well.
Before we got here, and this happened, but they kept telling us when we first got here that there was a donation of clothes, and I believe it was like this, fur jacket. And so, of course, they were checking the pockets. And in the pockets were $20,000.
Oh, my goodness.
And so it's just like, oh, I wonder, who has this sort of pocket change. But there was, a significant amount of money in the pocket. And so you just kind of never know what you're going to get. It's interesting. And so, we have people who are sorting through all of the things that come in. And you're right. Like, it could be a painting that, you just think, oh, we'll probably sell it for $5.
Right.
And it's like, if you actually got it appraised, oh my gosh, it would be crazy. We just got a donation of cards, like baseball cards.
Okay.
And so we're in the process of right now of like going through each card and just kind of going, oh my gosh, is this going to be, a crazy card that is going to be worth tons of money? But yeah, you just kind of never know what comes in the store that we can put out on the floor to be sold. But again, it just goes to giving back to the community. So anything that you don't want anymore, someone's leftovers can be someone else's treasure. But then also it goes back to making sure that people can stay in their homes, that they do have food on the table. So it's more than just shopping for, an interesting find.
It is. It's a all-encompassing. It helps whether you're donating, whether you're purchasing from the Salvation Army. All of it goes to help you. That's the unique aspect of the donations and having the Salvation Army store. Do you have it online as well, the products?
We don't. That is, probably something that we all need to start thinking about. How can we move it to online, because then, we can actually reach more people. So that's not something that we've thought about yet, but
you never know.
You never know. It is a good idea.
So in the holiday assistance area of your services, of course, the Red Kettle we spoke about. And folks, it's always fun. I always keep extra quarters in my car. So every time I go buy a kettle, I give them to my daughter. So she's, kind of getting into that habit. So it's a lot of fun for her to be able to support the Salvation Army. But you also have another program called the Angel Tree. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I love the Angel Tree. It is a program where we provide clothes and toys to children 12 and under. It is a way to help parents, Christmas time or the holidays. It's, people can have their budgets, put down to a T, but then to go above and beyond at Christmas times, it becomes a strain for our families. And so we are helping these families make sure that these kids have Christmas, that they have something to open up under the tree. And how I've always described it, it's giving these children a sense of normalcy. Everyone's struggling, not just parents, people with children, but everyone's struggling. But when kids go back after Christmas, after the holiday break, and everyone's saying, well, I got a skateboard, I got, this new pair of shoes, they can also say, I got a basketball, or I got a pogo stick. That was a request from a kid a couple of years ago, was a pogo stick, and that always stuck with me. But it gives them a sense of normalcy, even though their lives may not be, they may not have hordes of money, and they may not be able to have all of the luxuries, but they can have something, and they can talk with their friends when they get back at the holiday season. I think that's so important for children, because they're not responsible for budget restraints and things like that. So I just think that it's a great opportunity to give children an opportunity to just to have a sense of normalcy, and I think that's important.
It's the magic of Christmas, and everybody should experience a little bit of that magic. And so that's what the Angel Tree is.
Yeah. So we do need people to come, and we have 1,700 children this season that we are providing Christmas assistance for, and so we just need people to adopt these angels. So to be an angel for an angel, so to speak. So we need people to adopt angels, and so they receive these tags, and it says the name of the child, it says the age, it says whether they're a boy or a girl, and then it lists their wishes. And so we're not expecting everyone to, take off all of the things, but just providing something for these children, and whether it be a pogo stick or a pair of shoes, something, it is a great way to just spread the magic of the holidays.
Where can people pick up their angel?
So they can call our office, or they can go online and they can adopt. We have angels ready right now. Our distribution for the Christmas season is going to be the 19th, 20th, and the 21st. So people need to start getting their angels right now because we do need them back by, I believe it's the 17th. No, it's the 12th of December.
Okay.
So we need to, we need people to start shopping now so we can get it back into our office and start organizing for that distribution day where it's the best day of the year, where we can see parents just not just be happy, but a sigh of relief that, okay,
Right.
I've got some assistance and I got some relief.
Something
it
to
is
make
a
Christmas
magical
fun.
time. It's so much fun.
So should people wrap the gifts?
No.
Okay.
So what we don't want them to be wrapped. First of all, we want to see what's coming in and what's going back out to the parents. Also, we give them the opportunity to have wrapping paper. We give that to them.
Okay.
It's really, we are helping parents be able to wrap it up and put it under the tree so they
So you might add something to it that's a little fun.
The kids
right.
don't know where it's coming from
Right,
because
right.
there's magic.
Right.
But we just want the parents to still be in control of what's coming in. So we ask that not to be wrapped.
So it
And
really makes it pretty easy to adopt
unwrapped
an
and
angel.
new.
Just go out and purchase it and then bring it back into the Salvation Army and you'll take care of the
Yep,
rest
we'll
and
make
have
sure
fun.
it gets to that child. Yeah.
So again, we're speaking with Captain Deanne Jones. She's with the Salvation Army here in the Treasure Coast. There are 3 different counties that your area covers: Okeechobee, St. Lucie, and Martin. Today we're in Stewart, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Martin, but there's a lot of areas of service, and I wanted to cover those. There's food pantry assistance, past due utility assistance, past due rent assistance, school supplies, the angel tree we just spoke about, prescription assistance, clothing assistance, personal hygiene items, free bread and pastries every weekday. So folks always have something to grab something to eat every weekday. Furniture, household items, crisis assistance, a soup kitchen on Fridays only, and homeless shelter for women and children only. I mean, that's a lot of services, and I don't know if people really realize how far-reaching the Salvation Army is and how important it is. And this year, Captain Jones, have you noticed a lot more people that are in need of assistance? We talked about inflation at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. The need is greater, and just the wide range of people that are coming to see us. I think it's humbling to them because it's a lot of first timers are going, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. And we make sure that we handle it with, care, and that we keep their dignity intact, because it is, people are finding themselves on hard times just because everything's going up.
Yes.
Rent and food and everything is going up, yet our wages are staying the same.
Right.
So people are just, the need is greater, and it's people with jobs that, teachers and first responders and people with jobs that, full-time jobs, and now people are having to not just have one full-time job, but 2 full-time jobs. And it's so hard. I think about, single families, single parent families, where even in our shelter we have single parent families and they're working a full-time job, and then at nighttime they're going and they're driving an Uber car and just they're doing everything they can. They are giving up so much of their time, obviously, to provide for their families. And so it's just a wide range of people that we're seeing, because the need is so great. And it's daunting to see, but I know that we are doing the best we can to help the people that are in need. So, but yeah, the need is greater than ever.
Definitely out there. What about determining eligibility for somebody that may need utility assistance or rent or prescription? How do you determine eligibility?
So we have policies and procedures in place to make sure that we know that they are in need of our assistance. And I always like to share that we pay landlords directly, we pay the utilities companies directly, so that once they come in, they fill out their paperwork, and we know, okay, you have a past due bill, because they have to bring all of that paperwork in, and then we just go directly to these companies to make sure that it's being paid. It's a way to protect everyone involved, us and the clients and the companies, so that we are diligent with the money that we are putting out for these services, and to make sure that and to protect the clients as well, to make sure, okay, we know that this money went to where it was supposed to go. So there's lots of paperwork, which is not so much fun, but we're knowing that we're doing our due diligence to make sure that these services are being done to the best of our ability.
It sounds to me like you need a lot of volunteers to help make this all
yes,
happen. It
we
sounds
do.
like a lot of work.
Volunteers all the time. We need volunteers for bell ringing. We need volunteers all year round, because there's so much that we're doing, and we have a great team. We have a team that it's beyond the A team, but there's only so many hands. So the more volunteers that we have, the better that we can do our services and make sure that more people are helped.
Oh, and certainly it's a full-time job, I'm sure. So, folks, it's the Salvation Army. Again, we're speaking with Captain Deanne Jones. And, if you can help in any way, whether it's money, whether it's shopping at the Salvation Army store, donating goods, or offering your time, all those things are of great need always. You also have some programs I thought were a little interesting. Tell me a little bit. We got just a couple minutes, but the music and arts.
Yes. So the Salvation Army, we are a church. We have social services, but we also have spiritual services. And from the beginning, I mean, if we go all the way back to the days in 1865, music was a really great way of drawing people in, but we also teach music. And if you've ever looked at research of teaching kids music, teaching adults music, it just increases their ability to be social, but also in their education. It just gives them an even greater opportunity to learn math and English.
I was going to say, there's a strong relationship between music and math.
Yeah, music and music and arts and education, they go hand in hand. So it gives kids a greater opportunity to be successful in their education. So it's great.
So, folks, again, this is the Salvation Army. It's like there's so many things that you offer. It truly is an army. And I love the name. It's really all-encompassing. And it's not just food services or just utility bills. It's a lot of different areas to help out. So, folks, if you can help out, you see that red kettle bucket this year, always help out if you can. You'll see people, even my engineer here, Evan, will be out ringing a bell here in a couple weeks, I believe. But Salvation Army, go down and visit the thrift store, visit you online, adopt an angel. That's going to be a lot of, it's a really fun one. And also I want to remind folks, we had Commissioner Chris Collins in the studio last week. The ZIP meeting, the town workshop, is going to be this evening starting at 4 o'clock, and it's in the City of Stuart Hall. That's the zoning in progress that the City of Stuart is going through. They want your input. Is the City of Stuart growing too quickly? Do we have too much growth or not enough? So they want to hear. Got just 10 seconds. Again, Captain Deanne Jones, Salvation Army, thank you so much. Let's support that red kettle.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. We'll see you next week.
Listening